Chartered accountancy, what is it all about? Well, today I hope to answer that question and hopefully demystify the profession for you. So, hello everyone, my name is Sinead Fox Hamilton. I'm a chartered accountant myself, and I now work for Chartered Accountants Ireland in a mixed role, a commercial communications type role. And today, my job is to be, I suppose, the host for this very short showcase video, which I hope will be a fun 101 of chartered accountancy, the who, why, what, where, when, and how. And thank you, should I say, for tuning in. And what about we get our whistle stop tour of all things chartered accountancy underway? So let's go. Firstly, I think it's important, let's properly introduce Chartered Accountants Ireland, affectionately known as the Institute. So, we are Ireland's leading, largest, and longest established professional accounting education and membership body. So, we have 7,000 students in training and 39,000 qualified members and counting. And I suppose, in the most simplistic of terms, we're like a professional school. You study with us to become a chartered accountant, but you don't just get the certificate and off you go into the sunset. You then become a career long member of our institution. And when you qualify through our Chartered Accountancy program, you are awarded the prestigious ACA designation. And fun fact, that stands for Associate Chartered Accountant. Now, those three letters after your name are a hallmark of excellence, and the accreditation is a globally recognized business leadership credential. Qualifying with Chartered Accountants Ireland allows you to brand yourself as a chartered accountant. If you're not aware, there are actually various different brands of accountants in the market, just to confuse you. So do be mindful of that. Not all accountants are chartered accountants. And the clout and the kudos and the prestige that Chartered Accountants Ireland ACA qualification has, it really does make a difference to your CV. It adds some serious weight. It's a highly respected and sought after qualification and held in such high regard by employers in the market. Something else maybe to note on this slide, CPA Ireland amalgamated with Chartered Accountants Ireland in 2024, which actually now means you get the benefit of obtaining a dual designation upon qualifying. So you can use the letters ACA and CPA after your name. So another bonus for your CV, which is a win. That's great. Now, in terms, I suppose, of Chartered Accountants Ireland role, for those who enter the profession, we are there at every step of your career, educating, supporting, and advising. We become your lifelong career partner. The body itself, it's also a leading voice of the accounting profession and the island's business community. We represent our members' voices and advocate for them, helping to support economic prosperity. In terms of our presence, we're pretty unique in that we are an all island body. So you'll find us in both Belfast and Dublin. We have offices in both cities, and education offerings are all island. So we're very much local and accessible. And our students and members, they really value that. The fact that we're on the ground and can actively then offer support to our community. But look, let's learn more about the ACA qualification itself. I suppose there are four key themes I can talk around in terms of why chartered accountancy is an excellent career choice. So ultimately, becoming a chartered accountant is your passport to career choice and stability, travel and international work, a connected community, and best in class professional education. So let's take each in turn and we'll explore them a little further. So, first up, career choice and stability. Training to become a chartered accountant is a professional development journey. Our ACA program, it is so much more than the age-old stigma of number crunching. And guess what? There is no bean counting involved. While having a numerical aptitude and being finance literate is going to be important, you definitely don't need to be a maths brainiac. So let's debunk that myth straight away. And I'll get on to the boring myth later. But look, chartered accountancy training, it essentially focuses on core business skills to shape you as a leader, a decision maker, a problem solver, a strategist, an influencer. You become recognized as a trusted advisor. And because this is a business leadership credential, you can work in any sector, practice, business, public sector, third sector. And interestingly, 64% of our members work outside of practice or accounting firms. There is also a myth that the qualification is associated in the main with practice, but the reality is there's lots of options and lots of variety. Now, while training, you do need to be in an accounting or finance related role, but that's in any sector. Post qualification, you can choose to branch out further. And indeed, we have members working across all sorts of very diverse roles. So, traditional in nature and also non traditional. So, general management, HR, operations, marketing, sales, to name a few. And our members, they are working at the highest ranks across the market. Managing directors, chief executives, business heads are often chartered accountants. And it's just great to see how the profession can be so varied and be so flexible. It's also a really stable profession. There is always demand for chartered accountants. Employment rates are excellent. Chartered accountants are actively sought after by employers. They are recognized as being desirable candidates to hire because the ACA qualification is held in such high regard, and our members are known to be of a certain calibre. That's attractive to employers. Salaries then in the profession are also extremely attractive. The earning potential is an added bonus, and you will be set up for a financially secure future. So, having the ACA designation on your CV holds really strong clout and kudos in the market and will allow you to enjoy a career of rich diversity and reward. Now, skills. In terms of skills, then, it's important just to take a moment to echo the fact that the ACA qualification is a business leadership credential. And as such, the skills are so much broader than the technical focus stereotype often painted. In fact, chartered accountants have a really broad commercial skill set. And you might be surprised to know that often, when I ask employers what skill they would like to see amplified in their chartered accountants, their response is actually communication skills. That tends to surprise people. So we are definitely more than technical number crunchers. So developing this rounded leadership skill set is why chartered accountants can enjoy such career success and variety. Now, just maybe wrapping up the career choice and stability theme, we're so lucky. We are partnered to leading employers and the island's largest recruiters of top talent. Our students are training across all sectors. A teeny tiny snapshot of some of our employer partners is displayed, but we couldn't even begin to try and fit them all in because we're so very privileged and proud to enjoy partnerships with fantastic employers across the market, household names. And I suppose this slide is just to reiterate the point that students can train in all sectors, and indeed, you will also find our chartered accountant members in varied and diverse roles across all those different sectors. And another myth then that I can debunk is that it is a boring profession. My experience is that it is quite the opposite. Personally, I've enjoyed a hugely varied career across practice, then into business, then into banking, and then into accounting and finance recruitment before my current role now, which, as I said earlier, is a mix of communications and commercial development. So I can speak really truly firsthand of how the ACA qualification is a passport to a career of choice, which is brilliant. But let's move on now and talk a bit about our best in class professional education. So, when you train with Chartered Accountants Ireland, you can feel confident that you are going to be set up for success with our renowned quality education program, and that's important. And one thing maybe to mention on that is we don't outsource our delivery. So all is in-house, all is really well connected. You don't have to worry about any disjointment then in the delivery of your education. And that is actually a key differentiator to other accounting bodies. You're not faced with that daunting task of trying to find a reputable tuition provider. All is wrapped up within our program, so you can feel comfortable you are getting a chartered standard of quality. And students then reap the rewards because we have the best pass rates in the market and significantly so. Our pass rates are typically at the 80% plus level, which is absolutely phenomenal for any professional level program. So I would like you to keep that in mind, folks. The other thing to mention is, and being dead straight about it and being very honest and candid, the program, the exams, they are challenging. They have to be. It is a professional level qualification. It's why it's so reputable. It's why it's held in such high regard. But the quality, the standard of our education is such that it does equip students to do well. And it's why then also 83% of students will qualify faster when they choose chartered. And that's a stat from an independent accounting regulator. The other thing I want to call out on this slide is we also pledge to keep our programme up to date and under continuous review. Our syllabus is modern, it's progressive, it's future proofing your skill development, making sure that it is relevant for the employment market. So recent content refreshes include weaving in modules on emerging tech. So we've lots now, AI, RPA, we've got data, we've got analytics, blockchain, cryptocurrency, sustainability is a huge area as well now within our syllabus. So really exciting, a different syllabus to what I would have studied, which is great. It's progressive, as I mentioned. We also have partnerships with Altrex, UiPath, and Tableau, so students are benefiting from practical learning and access to these technologies as well. Another thing I want to mention is we have a state-of-the-art learning management hub and have dedicated supports to assist our students through. Our program is delivered and examined online actually, but it makes it really accessible and it's entirely convenient then for students. In fact, our delivery as a whole is market leading. We are trailblazing with innovation. We're using cutting edge technology and embracing adaptive learning to ensure students have a more tailored, a more sophisticated experience. And they are reaping the rewards from our investment and commitment to best in class professional education. There are also, not to get too far ahead of ourselves, future lifelong learning options post qualification and continuous professional development offerings there for our members. So it's important just to mention that on this slide. So Chartered Accountants Ireland is well placed to support the skill development of business leaders at all stages of their journeys. Now, the next thing to talk about, and one that often gets a lot of attention, is the travel and international work piece. So, the ACA qualification is very much a global passport, also, in that it is an internationally recognised professional accreditation. Chartered Accountants Ireland is part of the Chartered Accountants Worldwide family, which is 15 professional bodies coming together around the globe representing over 700,000 members and over 1 million students, and you become part of that family. And in fact, many of our members, Irish qualified chartered accountants that is, choose to travel with the qualification. So about 5,000 of our Irish qualified chartered accountants are working overseas, and they are in fact in hot demand. They are really highly sought after by international employers, which is great to know. And popular hotspots include the likes of USA, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, Dubai, to name a few. I think the warmer and drier climates definitely something to do with that. They're definitely attractive. But when there isn't a home chartered body, it's important for me to call that out in a particular country. We tend then to have mutual recognition agreements, so MRAs in place. So a notable example of that is America, where we have one with AICPA. So that's the dominant accounting body in the USA. And we've lots of US companies in Ireland now, so it is fantastic that our Irish ACA qualification is recognised in America because it's worth noting that not all professional accounting qualifications actually benefit from that. So it's another reason to consider choosing chartered. The same can be said for Canada. So in effect, I suppose the CPA qualification in the States, in Canada, although they're different bodies, they are then treated as equivalents to ACA. So important to call that out. A few other interesting facts of note on this particular slide. 99 of the best global brands, of the 100 best global brands, should I say, employ chartered accountants. Chartered accountants work in more than 200 countries worldwide, and more than 50 of the FTSE 100 have a chartered accountant as a chief financial officer, a CFO. But as I've said before, you're not restricted to accounting and finance roles. Our members end up in various roles at senior levels right across the market. So if travel is on your vision board, the ACA qualification will absolutely support you. So let's move on now to talking about the connected community piece. Chartered Accountants Ireland is renowned for its connectedness. We are a closely knit, exclusive network of business professionals. And by joining our body, you become part of that really supportive community of peers. With the 7,000 students, the 39,000 members, you're in great company. And in addition, as I mentioned earlier, you gain a lifelong career partner in ourselves, the Institute. And we're committed to engaging with and supporting our students and members on their professional journeys. And we have a wide range of service offerings, including a dedicated CA support function, which actually helps with matters of emotional and practical support. So we're very invested in helping students and members in the round. And we have lots going on. We've even special interest groups, sustainability, D&I, and lots of community activity. We're really keen, I suppose, to ensure that we remain relevant and stay well connected across that special community we have. So, in addition to the centrally run activity, we also then have regional and society activity. And we have a strong network of student and member led committees, which helps us to keep accessible, I suppose, to our members, to our students, and also keeps us linked in to what's happening within the profession. And it's maybe worth mentioning as well, our community is diverse, it's inclusive. Another myth that exists is that it's an old gents club, not the case at all. I'm so delighted now to be able to say that it's actually a really fresh and dynamic profession and that female representation is almost at equilibrium to the males, which is brilliant. So let's call that out. It's also a profession, if you're not aware, that it's invested in the public good. That's exactly what our charter represents. And we're always so proud to see the amazing charity work of our members, both from, I suppose, a fundraising point of view, but also in terms of them just giving their time, their expertise to deserving charities and community groups. So being a chartered accountant equips you with amazing skills that allow you to help others and to make that difference. And at Chartered Accountants Ireland, we're really proud to be, I suppose, a sustainability and SDG advocate body as well. And we're working to ensure that the profession and sector play an active role in making a positive impact in that space also. We're all about building a brighter and better future for us all. Now, all of these wonderful things are great and they're central to the profession and they keep us all busy. However, we also facilitate a program of social activity. We recognize the importance of relationship building and creating opportunities, I suppose, for our members and students to engage. So that ranges from balls, quizzes, sports events, comedy nights, food tours, international trips, you name it. We have a wide ranging agenda with something for everyone. So, as I've mentioned before, we are far from boring and we really like having fun too. Who knew? So, our rounded approach, I suppose, there, folks, it helps us make sure that we are well connected. Our students and members then thoroughly enjoy the reward and benefits of being part of that professional family. And there's a genuine sense of pride and belonging. So, that's pretty special. Now, hopefully, at this stage, the profession, the program is something that you're open to considering. And if so, let's talk a little bit more on the practical information points. So, how do you become a chartered accountant? Well, there are a few minimum prerequisites to gain entry to our program. You do need to be a degree holder. Now, that's in any subject, a holder of an Accounting Technicians Ireland qualification, and indeed you can switch from another body then as well across to us, which many do to benefit from the chartered brand and title and access to that community. Then there are two pathways to consider in terms of qualifying, the training contract and the flexible route. And I'll talk about each of those in turn shortly. The program itself then has two core elements, the academic course and the professional development practical training piece. And you need to successfully pass our exams and complete the relevant work experience in order to qualify then as a chartered accountant and get to enjoy using those three special letters ACA. So let's deep dive a wee bit further. We'll talk now about the different entry routes. So for those coming through from third level education, all degree holders are welcome. However, there just may be a difference in your starting point in our program depending on what course you've studied before, because those coming from related areas might benefit from exemptions. Exemptions, basically, folks, they are credits allowing you to bypass some of our subjects because you've already covered the same content in your previous education. So if your prior education syllabus matches ours in any area, we may grant you an exemption. So full or partial exemptions from level one or two of our program are often awarded to those coming from undergrad degrees in the likes of accounting, finance, business type courses. Also those then from postgrad diplomas in accounting and masters in accounting. Once you qualify from your degree, graduate, I suppose, you can then contact us and we can confirm your position. All pre-accredited courses, folks, are listed on our website under the exemptions area. Now, if you don't see your course listed, but you feel you maybe could be eligible for potential exemptions based on what you study, there's still an option for you to present us with additional details of your prior studies, and we can undertake an assessment and confirm the situation. So don't panic, that option is there for you. What I would say is, being really honest, we're pretty strict with exemptions and we only award them when there is a direct match to our syllabus. We want to set students up for success. So we do need comfort that you've covered the content in our syllabus in its entirety because our program is a building block model. So it's critical you have the knowledge and it makes sure that you don't fall further on down the line. And it's why our pass rates are so strong and the best in the market. We set students up for success. Now, in this scenario, then, on the flip side, if you come from a non-related degree, it's likely then you start at the beginning of our three-level program. I came from law, so that's what I did. And we've so many students that come from a huge variation of backgrounds, and employers do often like hiring a mix. So please don't be deterred that if you don't come from a related background that you're at any disadvantage. And don't worry in terms of, I suppose, our program. Level one of our program will ensure you have everything you need in terms of the foundations, the basics, in order to get up to speed and come through the program and be successful. So we absolutely welcome grads from all backgrounds onboarding with us. The next entry route then is via ATI, Accounting Technicians Ireland. So you can complete the program with ATI either via the apprenticeship pathway or via the traditional path, which is typically a part-time, maybe evening route, and then come into the Chartered Accountants Ireland program. With the apprenticeship pathway, you'll study with ATI for 2 years in a special fixed program. It's really popular now with school leavers, and lots are coming through then into the ACA qualification, which is brilliant to see. And with the traditional pathway, the model, the journey itself just can differ. But again, lots will come through to ACA. But ultimately, I suppose if you complete the 2 year program in either pathway with ATI within the required time frame and achieve the minimum required results, there is potential then to gain full exemptions from level one of the ACA program, which we call CAP 1. And we'll show you that just shortly. There is also an option, just to call it out, to jump straight into the ACA program after year one of ATI, subject to criteria being met, but you do forego any ACA exemptions in that scenario. So again, just calling that out. And we're seeing, as I said, lots of ATI students successfully transitioning into ACA and go on and do great things. It's a brilliant next step. They are a partner body to Chartered Accountants Ireland, so it's fantastic to have this route as well. So let's maybe get into the detail of the ACA program and the pathways. As mentioned earlier, the ACA program, it's made up of two equally important elements, education and experience, and you can only qualify on successful completion of both. So you must complete the academic course and pass the exams, and you must complete a quorum of professional work experience in a relevant role. And we'll chat more about that just shortly. The pathways. There are two, as I've mentioned, training contract and flexible route. So taking the training contract first. I suppose the key features of that are it's an employer-led training journey. Students source a trainee role direct from employers. Both the education and work experience are wrapped in then to an official training agreement with an employer registered to train. And tuition fees are all wrapped into that, they're covered, and a quota of study leave is offered as part of that as well. And it's quite a structured training model. Students complete the course on a consecutive basis and in a set time frame. And on average, that's 3.5 years, but there's more on that later. And you will find quite often it is connected to graduate schemes. Now, it's not the only way to train. The flexible route is another option for you. And typically, this is a student-led training journey. However, what I would say is now many employers are supporting in the background. They're just not mandated to be involved, as is the case with the training contract. With the flexible route, actually, you have the option as a student to be independent and to self-fund your journey. So that's also a viable option. Ultimately, students enroll directly with us on the study program element, but as I've said, many will offer in terms of employers sponsorship in the background. And that might be in full, that might be in part, but it is the student's responsibility to source the relevant employment in order to complete the work experience element and to negotiate any training terms in terms of the sponsorship piece. Another differential with this particular pathway is that the model allows more flexibility, or what exactly it says in the title in terms of the journey completion. So you have 8 years in order to complete the education and the work experience elements, and they don't need to run concurrently, which is, I suppose, a great option for anybody who does require that additional bit of flexibility, and they don't need to run consecutively in terms of the work experience and in terms of the study. So you have the ability to break down levels and take subjects on, I suppose, a piecemeal basis, and to also start study with ourselves, perhaps in an unrelated role, and then get your work experience down the line. Now, a really important point to call out, with both pathways, you complete the exact same program, but having the two options means that you have the choice at least then to select one, I suppose, that best suits your circumstances or your preferences. And a full breakdown of the pathway features is available on our becomeacharteredaccountant.com hub. So check that out. Now, a little more, I suppose, on the education journey, just to make sure that's clear. There are 3 levels of our ACA academic course, and I'll show you a visual next. Each level is taught over an academic year, and that runs from autumn through to spring, summer, and the associated exams then follow with sittings in summer or autumn, winter. And how many levels you complete depends on your prior experience, as we've talked about, because you may have been granted exemptions. I came from a non-related background, as I talked about, having studied law, so I completed all 3 levels, and because I came through a training contract pathway, I completed each course level consecutively. So in year 1 of my job, I undertook level 1, so CAP 1, year 2, level 2, which is CAP 2, and year 3, level 3, which is called FAE. So that journey piece will vary depending on your circumstances and starting point. Now, the education piece, the study element, it is designed to be a bolt-on to your job. So you are working full-time, gaining that important professional experience. That's part of the program, part of the qualification, and then you complete the academic course in your own time. Any live virtual classes, they are held after hours or at weekends to facilitate this. But don't worry, it's designed to be manageable, and there are so many supports available to help students along the way. And we have a fantastic learning hub and best in class tutors and a flexible delivery model that facilitates remote on demand learning and online examination. So the program, folks, is very accessible. So here's the visual I promised. It's a snapshot here of the 3 levels I've been talking about. CAP 1 stands for Chartered Accountancy Proficiency 1, CAP 2, Chartered Accountancy Proficiency 2, and FAE, Final Admitting Exams. Now, within each level, there are a number of topics and areas to cover, and you'll see the subjects listed there. What I would say is level 1, so CAP 1 and level 2, CAP 2, they are the technical focused levels in my opinion. So you're building skills across all those core accounting and finance fundamentals, equipping you then to be able to work across any area post qualification. At level 3, so FEE, final admitting exams, all is integrated together. And this is where your skills as that strategist, that problem solver, critical thinker, they are put to the test because the content is so broad. It stretches across commercial areas and business areas. And we're weaving in all that juicy content that I mentioned earlier. So emerging technology, AI, data, etc. Also, just to mention at FEE, you have the choice of an elective subject. So you can pick then a speciality paper in financial services, public sector, advisory, tax, or audit. And that allows you to deep dive a little bit further into an area of particular relevance or interest to you, which is pretty cool. Now, on the bottom, then, in terms of the bottom boxes, that's giving you a visual of potential full or partial exemptions that might be awarded against each level. So at CAP 1, you may be eligible to bypass this level in full or part if you're a holder of an ATI qualification, a related degree, or a postgraduate diploma. At CAP 2, you may be eligible to bypass this level in full or part if you have completed a recognised Master's in Accounting or postgraduate diploma or recognised undergrad degree course. And all students then must complete FAE level. No exemptions are awarded. And that also applies to those switching across from other bodies. There's no escaping FAE. Now, to check potential exemptions, you'll be required to submit applications to our admission team with the relevant evidence, and they'll confirm what you are awarded. And that service, that exemption checking service, it is free of charge and it's non-obligation. So I would always encourage you to check your starting point with us once you have your details. Now, moving on to the work experience journey, which I'll touch on before I finish up, students can gain the required professional development experience in any place of employment where they can access relevant accounting finance work and where there is a qualified accountant to act as a mentor or a training approver. So we provide students with a framework of competencies and we ask them then to complete an online log or diary. So we call it the training development log, and that's outlining the details of your role and your growth over the training period under the supervision of a workplace qualified accountant. So the graphic, the visual you can see shows some of the competencies and values that should be demonstrated. Those marked with an asterisk are mandatory. And you'll note actually that under that functional or technical stream, financial reporting is the only mandated competency. There is another myth that this qualification is aligned to audit or tax or best suited to those environments, but they're not actually core requirements. If you get exposure to those, that's a bonus, but it is not essential in our framework for any of our pathways. What I would say is we're very focused on tracking your development as that business leader, ensuring that you do cultivate those strong communication skills, management skills, technology skills, and that you evolve into that trusted, value-driven professional. So we can't be in every place of work, so that's why we use those trusted, qualified accountants in the field. And this is half of your qualification, as I've said before. Now, the work experience quorum, it's dictated by your previous education history. So ATI, Accountant Technicians Ireland qualification holders, they must log 4 years of work experience with us as standard. However, there is an option to apply for a discount of up to 2 years. So you can reach out for more details on that. For all degree holders, it's a 3.5 year work experience quorum as standard, and it's 3 years for accredited postgraduate diploma and master's holders. And for those completing the qualification with the training contract pathway, the length of that training contract will match with the work experience quorum. So that's where the training contract lengths come from. Now, just also to add, there is a prior work experience policy whereby we may be able to reduce the ACA training term for those coming from the variety of your different backgrounds if you've completed relevant work experience after the point of eligibility of entry to the programme. So, for example, if you come in from a degree, it's any relevant work experience completed after successful completion of your degree within a certain time frame. So, get in touch for details of that. Now, when your work experience log is complete, that is reviewed. It is signed off then by your in-workplace approver, your mentor, your qualified accountant, to ensure that it is a true and fair representation of the work undertaken. It's then submitted to us for final assessment. And assuming all is in order, we approve it. And as long as you have all your exams then completed successfully, we can then admit you to membership and award you those prestigious three letters ACA, and you can use that exclusive title of being a chartered accountant. You'll also get to attend a fabulous conferral graduation type ceremony with us and celebrate your amazing achievement. The job is done at that stage. At that point, you can go out, enjoy the benefits of membership, and of course, there are further study options should you be a keen learner. But today, I suppose, was all about demystifying the chartered accountancy profession and the qualification route. So I hope my presentation has done just that. In terms of a few wrap up tips on maybe securing sponsored roles, it's quite often a question I would get asked. Typically, larger employers with established grad schemes, should I say, will recruit in autumn winter for roles commencing the following autumn. However, lots of employers I'm finding now are recruiting right throughout the year. So it's important, folks, that you take the responsibility and take accountability in terms of keeping an eye on the market. Follow websites, social media sites, job boards, etc. The other thing to mention is placements and internships. They're a really good way to get experience, and many will lead to job offers for graduate roles as well. So, important to keep that back of mind. You also get a taster for the profession and if it's for you. However, let's remember you can also get your relevant ACA work experience in any accounting or finance role in any sector. That gives you exposure, I suppose, to the competencies discussed earlier. So it doesn't have to be a branded training role or scheme, nor does it have to be sponsored. So let's just be mindful of that. And another tip I would say, folks, is I would encourage you to engage with career services available to you and attend career events. The more information you can get, the better. You can also engage with us here at Chartered Accountants Ireland. While we don't get involved in the employment aspect, we do have a training vacancy listing on our website. You can check that out. Some employers choose to use that. What I would say is it's not representative of all live opportunities in the market. Many employers have their own processes, their own vehicles and mechanisms to recruit, so they don't need to use our platform. But it's there, and we will often have a listing of available opportunities for those that do choose to use it. We also have a listing of training organisations, and I would encourage you perhaps to reach out proactively, use that list, filter it by relevant county, see any employers of interest, research on them, and perhaps drop a note with CV and details. There is contact information on that page. And we also showcase careers content on our Instagram page as well. What I would say, all aspects of employment and recruitment, that is between student and employer. But I hope this slide was helpful. I thought it was just a nice one to wrap things up. And very lastly, before I leave you, a quick recap on some of the main differentiators of Chartered Accountants Ireland and our ACA qualification. Our accreditation is considered the most prestigious professional accounting and business leadership credential in the market, without a doubt. I've worked in recruitment and it is highly revered. It is globally recognized. The charter community, it's the largest, it is the most connected and active professional network, and it is an exclusive gated community that is um, accessed by top class business leaders, and you'll get to share that with them. The body is all island with physical presence both in Belfast and Dublin, so we're very local, we're accessible. We're also on hand to support our students and members. And in terms of our education, it's best in class, it's in-house, we don't rely on third parties, and we have the best pass rates in the market, significantly so. Students will also qualify faster with Chartered Accountants Ireland versus other accounting bodies. And our chartered accountants are in constant demand. We can't serve the demand that there is for chartered accountancy, which is fantastic. And it just means that you'll be set up for a career of stability. There's brilliant job security and there's fantastic earning potential within the sector also, which makes it an extremely attractive choice. So, folks, that is a whistle stop tour of the highlights of all things ACA. If I can leave you with one takeaway, it's that chartered accountancy is a passport to a career of choice across sectors. You will develop as a trusted business leader and enjoy a career of reward and of recognition. That's certainly what I found in my personal experience. So thank you so much for listening. If you would like to find out more, check out our Careers Hub. There's lots of really valuable information on becomeacharteredaccountant.com. You can also contact us at info@charteredaccountants.ie. And for all the latest updates, follow along on our careers page on Instagram as well. So thank you everyone for joining me.